welcome. Well, we've got 113 people out there at the start of this meeting. That's wonderful. On behalf of the council and our Timpanogos district, we want to welcome everybody to Roundtable. I hope you're all hearing me okay. And we're excited to have everybody here tonight. We're going to first have an opening prayer, and we've asked Terry Richardson to offer that prayer for us. And then we've asked Steve Baugh to do the Scout Oath and Law. So if everybody will mute yourself while we do these two, that probably will work out best.
Our kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we're very thankful that we're able to come together tonight as professionals and volunteers supporting scouting in our different districts. We pray for health and strength for all our volunteers and wonderful families that are part of our program, and pray that we'll have thy spirit and guidance with us tonight as we learn new things through our roundtable. And we ask this in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Steve, you're still on mute.
Steve, are you muted?
Invite everyone to make the Scout sign. Scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. Scout law. A Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. 2.
Okay, thank you for that, and thank you for all your participation. What we're going to do right now is invite you to go into your district rooms to receive information about each of your district activities for the coming period of time. We've allotted 7 minutes of time for this to happen, and then you'll come back here and we'll go through a couple more administrative responsibilities that we have before we go into roundtables. Okay, welcome back, everybody. The poll is out there, so if you see it, go ahead and put your name and troop number and district name in there so we can get a good roll from everybody. I'm going to share my screen with you. You should be seeing the food safety moment, and that's to remind us of to take care of our food this summer when we're on camp and outdoor activities. Make sure we are clean, and that is something that BSA wants us to be alert of at this time of the year. So in your invitation, this document was included in that, and if you need to get it, you can go there and down click it. It's also available out on the scouting website. And then our hot topic for the month of April is the Scouting Journey to Excellence reports. They've got some new ones out that you can download and have explanations for Cubs and for scouting, venturing. And so that's one of the things that we want you to be able to do, is score yourself on your journey to excellence and help the kids to do better. Is Rick Barnes available? Oh, I can see him.
Yes.
We're gonna turn 2 minutes over to you to talk about family camp.
Okay, Scouters, we got something exciting going on. It's something new. We are doing a family adventure at Camp Typee, July 11th through the 16th. And there will be 2 3-day sessions. Okay. We're looking for 150 participants per session, and this is for families. For families, okay? It's a still of a deal. It's $65 per person, and we've got a program from 0 to 99 for all ages. So we have different program groups set up for all ages. Our theme is Pioneering the West. We've got wonderful campsites with pavilions and water. You'll be able to park a vehicle in your campsite. We'll be doing dining hall feeding. We've got flushers and showers and an Olympic-sized pool. Our program will be handicraft, nature, rifle, archery, swimming, low cope, high cope for those in that age. We'll also be doing introduction to outdoor leadership skills for any adults that want to do that. So we've got a group of permanent staff plus 25 volunteers that will be helping us. So for more information, if you'll go to the council website and go to Family Adventures, go to Typee, we have our flyer there, we have our family guidebook and other information. So that's where you want to go to take a look. Our second session is starting to fill up a little bit, but we still need folks for our first session. So share this information with your families and your packs and troops. Again, this is Family Adventure at Camp Typee, all right? Central Utah, east of Mount Pleasant.
Thank you. Maddie Mayfield is going to give us a membership moment.
Yep. Thanks, Stuart.
Thank you.
Keeping membership in units at healthy levels is a top priority for the council. So each month in our district, we offer a quick tip to help your unit achieve its recruiting goals. This month's tip is sharing. Did you know that most scouts joined because of someone they know? It's true. That's why sharing the news about scouting is so important. Two great examples are scouts sharing their fun experiences with their friends and parents sharing their support for the program with the parents of their scouts friends. But sharing goes beyond that. Does your unit have a Facebook page or social media account? If you do, that's great. Ask your leaders and parents to share the unit's posts on their own pages. It will expand your reach exponentially. Did your scouts have a great experience at camp or another event? A great experience can be turned into a testimonial, which can be shared in any number of ways, from flyers to social media. This month, focus on how you can maximize your efforts to share the news about scouting. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Membership is an important part of scouting. A couple of just quick reminders. The fundraiser for beef jerky is going on right now. If you're not involved in that, you need to look up some things to find out how to be involved. We want to remind everybody to make sure their youth protection is always up to date. So we're getting through some people who are starting to expire, and we need to encourage them to make sure that youth protection stays up to date. And then there's some training opportunities. I got a advanced or a notice for Leave No Trace on May 13th and 14th. It's advancement training or training that's makes it so you can teach and leave no trace. So we want to make you aware of that. With that said, we're about ready to go to our breakout rooms for training. We've got a Scouts BSA room, we've got a Cub Scout room, we've got committee room and a venturing room. Thanks for being here tonight.
Okay, so this is an annual on the annual planning. I am sure that as people have checked in, I'm sure we have some very seasoned people out there that have done this before many times. And if you have any ideas of things that you think work better than anything that we suggest here, please feel free to jump in. This was the idea that was given to me of what I should talk about. So that's what we're doing. Let's go to the first one.
It's a great subject. So
So
if that's
we'll-
if everybody
First,
here is already good at it, I'll be very, very surprised because lots of units aren't.
well, I guess maybe I should have asked if there's anyone that's actually doing it on a regular basis. I know our PAC is doing it. We did it last year. It was kind of the first year it was a little shaky, but last year we did it pretty good. We've got it in the plan for this year.
And we've been asked to do both the PAC and the troop at the same time.
Which is kind of two different ball games, but we're going to do the best we can.
We
So-
usually do it every November.
Yes.
And we have one big group that does it for everybody but the PAC. And then we follow with the PAC and try and make everything with all 5 units work
Wow,
as best as possible.
that sounds great. One of the things that I know that has worked for our PAC, and honestly, I'm a Cub person. I'm more familiar with Cubs than Scouts. So, but with our PAC, our annual PAC planning meeting, we have done a potluck. Food seems to bring people more than anything that I know. If you've got any other key factors, let me know. Or something that has worked for your unit that brings people out and so that they want to be there. So that you're not bringing them kicking and screaming. Any great ideas?
I would say
We
just
do
point
the
out that that's
potluck in between the PAC one and the troop and everybody else one. So we're all there at the same time in the middle.
Wow, that's impressive.
One thing we did this last year is we actually had each youth write out ideas, and then we just took all those ideas, and as adults, we brought them up to the group. So some of the ideas, even though some of the youth thought they were dumb or whatever, it was still an anonymous thing if if one of the youth didn't want to bring it up themselves.
Was that for PAC or troop?
That was
or
for a
both?
troop. And we had one of our boys, he wanted to make camp pillows.
Oh,
And he was kind of embarrassed about that. But as an anonymous thing, we made camp pillows.
well, there you go.
Because we have a boy and a girl troop we work with.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
So you did it anonymous.
Yeah, this screen more or less comes from the sources that we've all seen before. And so we wanted to put this in up front. Ideally, these are the people you would have at the different annual planning events. The troop basically is it's the scouts, girls are the boys troops. We have two, we have both. And we try to help them out. So we have there's a planning committee, then there's a support committee. And we all have seen the videos on this.
So after you figured out who all should be there and figured out a creative way to invite and get them there, then the first thing that you do is you gather information. And a lot of this is done prior to the meeting. You gather for PAC, I know you do key school dates, community events, charter organization dates, personal dates, district and council dates, PAC and Den meeting dates, charter organization events. Collect your talent surveys so that you know what kind of resources that you have in in your unit. And of course, you have your last year's annual plan, which is kind of your basis where you start.
On the troop side, it's a little bit more simplified on this, and that is basically if you have an annual plan from the prior year, looking at it, seeing what you want to repeat, what worked, what didn't, which will be on the next step. Don't forget your chartered organization events. We have the American Legion for our chartered organization, and they're constantly asking for troop and PAC involvement. And we were good this year. The first year we forgot all about them, even though they were our sponsor. So just important to look at that.
What American Legion sponsors you?
Post 111 out of Eagle Mountain.
Out of Eagle Mountain?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah,
Post
we're
111.
We're American Legion sponsor for our troop and Cubs.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, great organization.
Okay. So now you're going to review everything that you've got. You're sitting in your meeting and you're going to review everything you've got. You're going to look at the things that you've done over the year, the things that worked, the things that didn't, so that you know what you want on your coming year's calendar. I think one of the things that I think we didn't think of in this last planning one was our attendance at each event. And so that's an important thing to know, because that will show you probably what's the most enjoyable activities that you do is your attendance. Do people want to come?
On the troop side, the course number one, start, stop, continue, went well, what didn't, the fundraisers. On that, we found that popcorn didn't work as well as other fundraisers. And as the year went along, we found there was other things we wanted to do that required more fundraisers. We had to insert that wasn't planned for in the original plan. Of course, JTE, we looked at that and seen how close we came to the goals. Major camp outs, this is beyond summer camp. We planned and tried to have some, in spite of COVID and things like that, some major camp outs. And we looked at that and looked at whether or not we should continue that going forward. So that was some things we looked at in the troop plan.
I think one thing you have to remember is that you have to assess your adult leadership, and if you've got enough people to do the things that you want to do.
Any comments to hear?
This is great information. I will say that. This is very, very good.
Well, thank you.
We need a bunch of our units to see it.
And I agree with that. This is really great information. And I've done annual planning before, but we didn't for this year, and we need to do it. This is really good information.
I think it's the key to having a successful unit is the planning.
I agree.
We tried in this presentation. Of course, each one of these takes hours. There's hours of you can do like a 4-hour presentation, all day training. On each one of these, we tried to shorten this down into the half hour that we have. So these are some of the key things we thought would impact us all. Go to the next one. Step 3. Okay.
So now we're going to build our calendar. We're going to brainstorm the activities that you want to do in addition to your den meetings or your for the PAC, and then you start filling out that calendar.
And on the troop side, of course, there's 2 sections. You have a scout leadership, your senior patrol leaders, the patrol leaders, and the others are on that first slide. Sometimes they need help understanding what kind of agenda they need to look at and follow, and so they're not too scattered. And so help them develop an agenda, show them some examples of an agenda, help them prepare for that conference, and start taking the information from the previous step and start filling in that. I'd strongly recommend the program features potential. If they want an easy way to take care of the different things that they want to do, Look strongly at program features. There's 3 different volumes. And it's excellent material. Yes, you can ignore the whatever substitute scout. I don't think they've updated them yet, but look at that as a very strong potential for how to run your monthly troop and patrol meetings. And include those in your planning and in your calendar.
Any questions?
That's excellent, Dan. I'm glad you brought up the program features because sometimes, like you said, boys don't have an imagination except for one you can't really carry out. But you can also always show them the 3 volumes and have them, oh man, that looks good, and get monthly themes that these program features have. And it has agendas, it has everything you need to run a troop meeting. And after you've done this for a couple, 3 years, they'll get used to it. And your troop meetings won't be all of one thing called advancement. It will be a true troop meeting using your program features.
You're absolutely correct on that. And the other thing I'd recommend up front, if you're going to use those, you have the scouts vote on them. In other words, I forget how many there are, but 20 maybe. And
It's more than that.
There's quite a few, and you have them vote on it. And then they just count them up and say, okay, it looks like out of the 20 scouts, we got 10 that want this one, 6 want that want this one. And that's your schedule for the year.
Remember also, we're teaching the democratic process. You said vote. Patrol leaders should get the information from their patrol as to what they want to do as a patrol prior to the planning beginning. Then they take that information to those boys you had in slide 1, which makes up your SPL, assistant SPLs, and all your patrol leaders. And they're the ones that actually make the final decision as to what to have in that program based upon some of the things the boys want to do.
Yeah, they get input and then they follow through on it. Yeah, you teach them how to do that.
Also, I know what we've done with the PAC is we've assigned a point of the scout law each month so that we're kind of focusing on each point of the scout law. Because one thing I've learned with the younger scouts, some of them don't even know what those words mean. And so if you do things that help them to understand what each point means, that helps as well.
Those are good Scoutmaster minutes also for a troop.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, our Cub Master likes that, particularly for the PAC meeting.
Our ship is almost completely brand new. And so we haven't done an annual plan yet, and we want the youth to do it. Also, Sea Scouts have Sea Badge that's very similar to Wood Badge. I'm in the middle of taking it, and we have a log that's like a Wood Badge ticket. And the annual planning and the JTE are 2 of my log items, so that I just came up with since this last weekend. So this is perfect for me. Thank you very much.
Well, you bet. We wouldn't be invited when you get beads. I don't know what you get for your ship.
The adults, there's a skipper, and then the assistants are mates. With the youth, the SPL is a bosun, and then we have bosun's mates. And if you have enough to start having crews, then there are crew leaders, but we're a long way from there.
Well, let us know when you achieve everything. We'd like to know.
Sounds fun.
Okay, next page. Next.
So now you're going to finalize your calendar. You're going to look at the things, the ideas that you have for each month or each main event. Like in our pack, we're talking of gold is a main event. So you're going to fill in the gaps with things that everyone has decided works for your unit. And then look if you need to do more fundraisers. If your eyes are bigger than your stomach, sometimes you plan things and then you find out that you don't have enough money to do that. And so you need to look at that up front. And then you need to assign responsibility to each main event so that you have committees. We've had people just sign up on a sign-up sheet, which activities that they would like to do, and that seems to work for us. And my husband, being the treasurer of our units, puts in the budget to create what he calls a rolling pack 18-month budget.
And likewise on the troop, as you look through the calendar, you'll find some gaps. Even if you do use the program features, you'll find gaps in other activities, camps, and things. That the fundraising comes back into that. If you need to look at some more fundraising, it may be mid-year you decide that the following year you want to have I don't know, I'll put it out there, Florida, or someplace like that where it takes a little bit more money to get there. And so you need to look at that. And the activities you've had year to date, did you go through that fundraising funds a little bit quicker than you thought? It has to do with that. Let the youth understand that, let them work with that. And number three, basically, the youth put together that plan. Now they need to let the support committee, other than the scoutmaster definitely, but everyone else, walk through the plan with them, so everyone as an adult and any parent that wants to know what's going on, what's this troop going to do, how can I help, are we biting off too much, that kind of thing. And get to that budget. That's a rolling 18-month budget. You got to be there. You can't just do it like in August, through the following July type thing. If you've got something big in the fall and you do a 12-month budget, you're not going to have enough funds. You got to look ahead 3 months beyond that plan. You need to have that. It needs to be an active thing.
The way we do that as a district that works well for units as well is we plan our calendar, a 12-month calendar on a school year scouting program calendar, but then we do it for the whole next year. And so we do it in August, and we plan, and then would plan all the way through the following year. So you never get to the end of your calendar or the end of your budget. In August, you're planning all the way through the following year. So you're planning 16 months ahead. And that helps keep you on top of things and accomplishes part of what you're saying with that budget, but other activities as well. You make sure you're planning for ahead. You don't get to the end of one calendar and then think, oh dear, and then things aren't planned out for the next couple of months. You're always ahead of it.
Dan, two things come to mind. Number one, the troop committee needs to approve the plan that the boys come up with. And number two, once it's approved by the committee and it's final, then I recommend, and we've done it in the past, where we have a parents' night and refreshments and all that kind of good stuff. And the senior patrol leader presents the annual plan to the parents. Mm-hmm. And it's his plan. It's a boy's plan. He represents them and he's in charge of that troop. And he presents the annual plan to the parents.
I thought about putting that in this slide. I didn't want to make it too complicated. Yeah, too complicated, as my wife puts it. But yes, it definitely needs to be presented by that senior patrol leader or any delegate that he or she has for that to get the approval, not as a support committee, but all the parents and anyone that's involved with it, even the chartered organization rep, if that's appropriate.
Does anybody else have any comments about this?
Well, here's another thing I was going to say about when you're filling in gaps. I loved the fact that you said start with your major campouts and your major events in the year. one thing that fills in a lot of gaps is, okay, we say, okay, we're going to have this big activity. What do we need to do in preparation for that? For
Yeah.
instance, when I was a scoutmaster or varsity coach, I'd say, okay, we're going to have a snow cave camp out in February. How many weeks do we need to prepare? Let's practice. Let's do some of these things to get ready for it. Or whatever. If we're going backpacking in the summer, what do we need to do to prepare for that? And fill in your gaps by doing some planning those preparation times.
Well, but therein lies the opportunity for the theme of the month might be the snow cave, might be the backpacking, etc. And then prior to all of that happening is your weekly scout meetings, preparing the young men, teaching the young men, so that when they have the activity, they're prepared.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, our next step is we're almost finished. So we are now reviewing our final plan, making sure we've got all of our ducks in a row. And probably most important and the least used is make sure that that plan is distributed to all people, all of the den leaders, all the parents, to make sure everybody knows what is coming up so that there's no surprises.
I wanted to put double quotes around final review on the troop side because this is a living document. It can change during the year.
That's the next.
And that's on the next slide. So I'm going to bounce to that quickly.
These plans are not written in stone.
Somebody had a comment.
I was going to say there's a
comment?
balance. Yeah, they're not written in stone, but you need to do everything you can to stick to it as best you can, especially when it comes to those big events. Don't let them make sure you're ready for them, make sure they're not getting put off and, oh, we weren't ready, so we couldn't do that. That's not what you want to do.
Right. But it's a good idea to, at your monthly committee meetings, to review what's coming up and making sure that everything is okay for that, or if you need to make some adjustments.
And the same on the troop side. Force that patrol leader committee to take some time and look at the plan. How we do on track with that major activity. We need to change our topic a little bit for next month to take care of that backpacking. Have we got a snow thing coming up? Are we prepared for that? Should we change a little, maybe week 2 to talk about that a little bit more? And then the troop committee, do we have enough drivers to get these scouts where they need to go? Do we have any volunteers that want to go do a snow camp? And those kind of things the troop committee needs to be looking at as far as adult support for the troop.
Are there any comments?
I think the next one's references.
Yeah.
Well, in closing, we got to have a source. So we go to scouting.org. There are thousands of sources for annual planning. Some other councils have some very detailed, very nice outlines of how to do an annual plan. But I say stay with the scouting.org to start with and branch out from there. Prepare your own style of an annual plan. Make sure that you know what that is and that you help train them.
Excellent, Dan and Melanie.
Well, I hope that it helped or gave you some ideas of things that you can do, because it's not coming up next month or even maybe the next month, but it is coming up pretty quickly for us to develop these plans so that we're organized and ready for the next year.
Or if you don't have one yet, it is time.
Yeah, a lot of troops will do them based on the school year.
I say whatever works for your unit.
Yeah, the pack is pretty much whatever year-round pack, but there are packs that do it on the school year.
Even if you are active year-round, following the school year as your basic calendar is a good approach for them.
It is. Thank you. And thank you for those who have made comments. I appreciate it. And thank you all for what you do in each of your units. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you all. Have a good month.